the elimination match. So unfortunately, one of these two teams is going home at the end of this series, which is completely ridiculous. You certainly wouldn't expect it from this group, the talent that we saw in it. I was kind of expecting these two teams to be the two teams that get right through, but instead, they're fighting for their lives. And as we get into the pistol round here on Mirage, see Winstrike going for an early A execute. A lot of utility to work with, so they're going to burst right over this one. Nickelback and Crad. The smokes have been deployed. The flashes pop over and they charge right in. Problem's going to fall back. And it seems like Hellraisers are actually going to play a full A retake setup on this one. So they have to be careful as Winstrike. If you want to take CC, but the counter flash is in play and Problem's able to find two. Forrester there to trade. Elian finds another as JLM. He is spamming right now, but can't seem to find anything more. Comes into a 2 versus 2 situation, but very, very low health on the Hellraisers men. And Forrester, he is just toying with time right now, baiting his teammates, jiggling around this box, even deals further damage onto Kalinka. This is very much looking like a firm round in Winstrike's favor, unless something big happens, and Forrester brings it into a one-on-one. Time is of the essence, and Hellraisers, they just cannot get it done. Winstrike, they take it to 1. And what a pistol round. I mean, what an eventful pistol round as well. We see Winstrike blitz onto the site. Hellraisers play for the retake. You see Winstrike setting up to try and push in and take that CT control, which is often the plan when you take a site and you know that your opponents, especially on the pistol round as well, to be fair, but any other round it still applies. You take the A site, your opponents are playing retake. You want to try and take CT control. You cannot just sit on the site and wait like that. You have to try and take CT control. And as soon as they try to do so, Hellraisers throw in a counter flash and they make it work. They find the opening kills, but it's just not enough. Winstrike lead by 1, and they've got the rifles to work with. Hellraisers do actually pull out a force buy here, but not too much to work with. A couple of deagles, problem with that MP9. Remember, he got 2 kills on the last, so a little bit of bonus cash in his bank account has been spent. And Anakez, the man with the AWP, the sniper master, on that scout, the SSG-08. Let's see if he can do some damage with it as he lingers over towards a CT spawn. Doesn't seem like he's going to get too much action this round because Winstrike, they're opting elsewhere. Stacks up towards the B site, the C4 working its way to the apartments, and Flarich, he's going to take the early brunt of the firefights, jiggling around with that deagle. As soon as he spots someone out, he'll probably deploy a smoke grenade, but timing, oh, it's just impeccable. He goes for the jump spot just before Crad pushes in, and by the time he goes for the second, Crad's up close and personal, and he's able to eliminate him with the MAC-10. The insurance policy here for Hellraisers is line, boosted on the site, deagle in hand, which the first shot connects with the 1 but doesn't live for much more. Eliam finishes him off, and Winstrike, this is a much, much more convincing round. They blitz right in, they take the B site, and it seems like Anika's and Problem will probably go for the save here. I can't imagine that they're going to just burst in with a scout and an MP9. Does make sense to save these 2 weapons, especially considering they're accompanied by the Kevlar and helmets. Anakez, he has been spotted. They do know where he is, and it seems like they're hungry to hunt, especially considering they've still got 2 MAC-10s in play. They don't particularly want to carry them across. They want to... The whole purpose of these MAC-10s is to try and do damage and, well, get some money, but that's not the way to do so. Crad trying to run through his teammate's Molotov, attacked up by the scout, burns in the flames. Finally, Nickelback from behind is able to take him out, and it really does come down to Problem right now. Desperate to try and hold on to this MP9, but also desperate to try and do some more damage. If he can find 1 or 2 more kills here and get some more money, and he knows that there's one in here, and then he's low on health. Nickelback round the corner, saved by time. Problem does carry across that MP9. And as we get into this first map, remember this is Winstrike's picks. You will expect the odds to be in their favor, but our partners over at Gandom are quite heavily favoring them, especially after this early 2-0 start. So if you fancy placing about on this game or any other matchup here in the Snow Sweet Snow, then make sure you head over to our partners over at Gandom. They're fantastic for that kind of stuff, and they're going to be providing you with live odds throughout this series. Another round here for Winstrike, where they've got all the tools to work with, and, well, they're not going to be up against a whole lot. Problem with that saved MP9 from the last, and everybody else just with the USP. Single PT-50 in Kalinka's hands, and it should be a complete whitewash. We see right now a full stack towards the B site here from Hellraisers. They've gone for the 50-50 gamble, and they've drawn it short. They've gone for red, and it's rolled black. And now, what's the game plan? Maybe they go in for a retake with these USPs, see what kind of damage they can do. Winstrike seem to be fully aware of what's up right now, though, and they want to try and farm some frags, especially considering they've still got 3 MAC-10s in play. This is their opportunity to rack up some money. 600 kills apiece for all the frags that come through this SMG, and Crad knows it, and he's hungry for them. Spams in, gets the first, tags up a lot of damage onto Lion, the second man to fall. There we go. Crad with another Forester, and Lackey's climbing through, and Crad finishes off the job. A nice little 3k from him there to finish things off, and it actually gets him an $1,800 bonus as well. So he has massively profited from that Mac 10 and can certainly justify throwing it in the bin and pulling out a rifle here. But it seems like Winstrike, and they've got bags and bags of confidence right now, and they're actually going for a bonus round. Now, a bonus round in my mind is 1 or 2 Mac 10s, and you kind of, you play them, and there's a good opportunity for the rifles to still get the round done, and you just kind of play with those extra SMGs and hope that you still win the round. Whereas they've still got 3 SMGs in play right now, so they're playing at a major disadvantage. And to try and dampen that disadvantage, they're trying to go for these up-close and personal fights. We see them stacking up in the B apartments. They're going to go for a good old-fashioned B rush. See the flash in the hands of Elian. He's ready to deploy it. The nade stack onto line. Does so much damage. Doesn't quite finish it. But Flat's able to do so. Massive whiffs from Flarich. In the meantime, Anarchist is able to find one. But Flarich drops without doing any damage whatsoever. Anarchist still firing through for another. But the B defenses have absolutely crumbled. The Mac 10s have upgraded to the rifles, and Lackey and Elian left in a 2 versus 2 situation. This has been a hyper successful round for them, whichever way it goes. But if they're able to win it, their economy goes through the roof. Hellraisers, they are down in the dumps. No money to work with in the next if they can't clutch this one up, and it seems like they're going for it. No safe fall in. This has to be a round that they push in for. And problem, what the hell is that? Right through the smoke. Lackey's trying to play the off angle, but he's pulled the trigger too early. And that is a big clutch. And it all falls on the hands of Problem there, coming in from short. Really fantastic stuff. Couple of mistakes made there from Winstrike in that 2 versus 2 situation. There was no real need to be exposed like that. They had time on their hands. They had the C4 planted, a fuse on the round, and, well, it doesn't quite go their way as we see this replay. Problem, there we go, Lackey just out in the open, and then Problem doesn't even see anyone through the smoke, but with Elian spamming some shots away, he can trace those bullets all day long. Fire off a couple of shots of his own. So Winstrike, they won't be too bothered about last round, considering how close it came. They might be a little bit bummed that they didn't win it, but to be honest, it was a bonus round. They found kills, they got the bomb plant, and now they've got plenty of cash to work with. The biggest good investment come out. The early AWP pick was entertained towards the A ramp, sorry, but it wasn't found. So the AWP dropped back over towards Elian. We see Winstrike playing a much slower, much more passive defense. As soon as they know that Hellraisers have got the rifles in hand and Winstrike haven't got the Mac 10s, they give their opponents a little bit more respect. I like this jump spot from Flarich as well. You normally see the jump spot across. This is interesting. Gives him a deeper angle. More time to deploy that grenade if he does spot anybody. And to be honest, when you're picking the B apps as well, you're not expecting to take a firefight as soon as you come through. You normally don't put your crosshair at head level until you're actually like wide swinging out. So that is actually an interesting jump spot, not one that I see too often. And Kalinka, there we go, nice opening pick. Hellraisers really back in the driver's seat now as they are picking up frags like no one's business. It's no issue for them at all. Not a single point of damage taken, and they've dealt 200 of it. Really looking to swing this round back and actually take it 3-3. Close this gap that's initially been established by Winstrike, as they are just blitzing through a flawless round of the cards right now as it all falls onto Elian's shoulders. They do actually have enough money to go for another buy in the next. That's kind of the power of winning the first 3 rounds in a row and not really taking any casualties. But of course, Elian wants to try and hold on to this AWP. With only 15 seconds left on the clock, I think it's very, very unlikely indeed. It seems like he is just going to go for the save call. So, an interesting round here for Winstrike, and one that they really, really do just get completely crushed in. Luckily for Elian, though, no one actually pushing for this AWP, so we will be able to carry it across into the next. Freeze time then, and another full investment round. We do actually see a Galil come out on Lackey, but other than that, everything else healthy. Rifles all round, AWP on both players. It's the battle of the Titans here between Elian and Annika, looking to try and find these opening picks. There's actually Kalinka holding towards mid, spamming away through this smoke. Not going to connect anything just yet. The nade does a tickle of damage, but not too much. Annikez, with the sniper, instead of taking the battle in middle, actually gets aggressive in the apartment, spots out just a whisper of hair above that wooden fence and fires off the shot. His position now known. He has to fall away, of course. Still a 5v5. Minute 20 on this clock, and Winstrike once again playing a very, very slow round. This didn't work out for them at all in the last, but this time they're taking more control, and it seems a little bit more coordinated. Looking like they're going to go for, at the end of this one, an A execute, and that's smart from Elian. There was a one-way smoke in place, and he actually re-smokes it. Forces Kalinka into the jungle peak, but Kalinka, he's not been checked at all. They're peeking into him one by one, and he's able to strip 3 heads, looking to make it 4. Brad denies it, but luckily for him, Problem's able to trade it out, and it all falls onto Forrester's shoulders. What an unbelievable round from Kalinka, one that was looking like it might not go their way. The call should have been relayed. There was a man in window, and instead they peek into jungle blind, and they get absolutely torn to shreds. Kalinka really, really pulling the weight here for Hellraisers. This round does fall onto his shoulders, and well, Forrester, he has a C4 to retrieve and only 25 seconds to do so. Heavily guarded. That incendiary is not going to help at all, but the frag does. Brings it into a one-on-one. He has a sneaking suspicion he might be towards Connector, and he gambles wrong. Flowich swings from Inferno? That's not what I meant to say. Swings from jungle. Gets it finished off. Here's that 3k from Kalinka again. Absolute pinpoint precision. Unfortunately, he couldn't take the 4th there, but, well, he's done his job. In fact, he's exceeded it. And Hellraisers, they're able to start this scoreline 3-3. That last round, a little bit close for comfort, especially considering Kalinka's efforts. But nonetheless, they come out on top, and they actually force Winstrike down to what will just be essentially an eco, a hero AK coming out from Forrester. But that is all. I like this position from line. In lower mid, here to support the AWP of Anikez, but he also has a smoke grenade to provide him cover from under. He's in the connector. There we go. First shot comes through. Anikez fires off with that AWP. Can't connect onto the second, but Elian stuck behind the boxes. Position known. Tagged up too. And it all falls onto Forrester to try and make something happen. He opens up the A site, interestingly enough, with this hero AK. He has done his job, but his teammates, they're nowhere to be seen. In fact, they're dead. They've died in middle, and Anikez, a little bit late to the party, but he's able to fire through for one more. All on Nickelback once again. 1 versus 3. Does some damage onto Anikez, but can't do any more than that. As Anikez picks himself up a 4k, starts to stat pad a little bit on the eco, puts himself at the top of his team's leaderboard. And Forrester, no real surprise that he was given that hero AK. He's already on double digits here. And he did find the 2 opening picks on A. If that was actually going to be an A play there from Winstrike, that maybe could have worked out for them. But instead, they go for this mid control. They kind of pull the rotations from Hellraisers on mid. Forrest is able to get a couple of backstab frags, but it doesn't really mean too much at the end of the day. You do see the weapons come out once again. Fairly limited utility here for the Winstrike side. Same certainly can't be said for Hellraisers. They've got absolutely tons of it, and they're in a fantastic position, especially considering they're on their opponent's pick. If they can take this round, they really, really do put themselves into the driver's seat and give themselves a good opportunity to take further. Strike continuing to execute, bombarding this with flashes, but as they get onto the site, they don't really have much util for the post plant, and Hellraisers know that. They're going to wait this one out, go for the retake, and well, they've only got a flash and, well, 2 flashes and a smoke to contend with. Crowd on the other side of the smoke plays it perfectly, in fact plays it beautifully, just around the edges. It's very difficult to spot, and continues to push through, can't do any more than that. Anikez spot effects his kick in, spins around, finds himself a second. He's not going to be expecting Lackey there though. And it does come down to Flowich. There's no way he's clutching this round. They were desperate to save it, and they're not going to be allowed it. Very, very nice round there for Winstrike as they do bounce it right back. Bring it 4-4. I've just realized the teams are actually the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter too much. Ooh, what a flick there from Anikez. Going for that opening pick, and he finds it. Beautiful stuff. Winstrike really looking to try and bounce back right now. In fact, not Winstrike, we're getting confused now. Hellraisers really looking to try and bounce back after that last round. And look at that. Line getting aggressive, brings it back. Elian trades one out. And this is just back and forth affairs, but Hellraisers just about coming out on top. 1-man advantage right now. And Elian with this AWP, 46 points of health. Timing. It's in his favor for now as he manages to get himself behind the box. Kalinka doesn't opt to actually swing from short, but in the meantime, Lime over towards Palace, and there we go. Kalinka swings on cue. The line does get checked. Lackey's able to take him out. Gets this C4 down, tapped in. But the swing, it's due to come from CT. Flarich doesn't actually peek instantly. I like that. Considering that was a 2 versus 1 situation, Flarich was low. He knows that as soon as he hears that C4, if he goes to the swing, there's a chance it's a fake. And if he dies, then it becomes a 1 versus 1. And it really, really does heavily favor Lackey in that situation. Whereas if he waits for the bomb to actually say, bomb has been planted, he knows he can go for the peak. He's got the advantage because, well, Lackey has to pull his gun back out, and he should be able to win that gunfight all day long. And that's exactly what he does. So, very, very nice stuff there. Puts Hellraisers in the lead once again as we sit 5-4. You saw on that TV the little Gamdon branding. I like that. Very, very cool stuff. As we get into round number 10, this has been a very, very back and forth affair so far, and well, who would have expected anything else? These two teams so closely matched. I said it was going to be an interesting matchup. It's certainly shaping up that way, and as I said initially as well, if Hellraisers can take this one in, if they can take Mirage, I actually fancy their chances of taking this in 2. If they lose Mirage, which they should, then I think we go to 3 maps. Then it becomes a little bit touch and go. Maybe goes in Winstrike's favor. But Hellraisers right now, they are looking fired up. Anarchist with this AWP hasn't really missed all too much. Lincoln with one of his own this round. First time we've seen this double up setup come out. An aggression from Lime doesn't work out too well for him. The flash doesn't actually hit. And there we go. Problem. Oh, it falls onto his shoulders. Despite the fact that he's flashed, he stays on the angle. Fires through for 2. Can't quite get the third. Very, very close there. But it comes into a 3v3 situation. And with 30 seconds left on this clock and the C4 down, out in the open, it's actually over towards Firebox. And Kalinka's got the angle. Just needs to be careful of Elian here in Palace. If Elian goes for the peak, Kalinka might get eliminated. Realistically, Winstrike need to go for a double swing here into CT. One from Palace, one from below. It seems like that's the game plan, but Kalinka's wise to it. C4, it has been retrieved. They can plant it on the front of the box, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Play it perfectly. Now a tricky retake for Hellraisers to get into, but a nice AWP shot from Kalinka to open up proceedings. Gives him a man advantage. Damage dealt. Crad finds another. Back into a 2-on-2. Kalinka still low, and they're fully aware of the man from the connector, but Elliot can't connect the finishing blow. Only the leg shot. Crad's there to do that. Kalinka up close. What the hell is that? Right through the smoke. A beautiful read. Now knows the final man. He's Crad. He's going to be over towards jungle, maybe connector. Taps on the bomb. Scopes in, tries to fake it, but can't quite do so. Pros don't fake, but well, Crad knows that. Brings it back 5-5, and once again, we just trade back and forth. This game could not be closer so far. And honestly, I'm interested to see who pulls away. Of course, prior to this, we saw a very, very long series. Went to the 3 maps, went to the overtime. The two teams were essentially inseparable. We could certainly see that again. Winstrike. Their economy's finally broken, though. They actually really don't have a lot of money to work with here. We see this MP9 and the He has been sensational so far, but up close and personal, can't do any more than the damage. Forrester's going to finish off the job, actually killing his teammate there with the Galil, and Lime finds a headshot with that Deagle. So man advantage here for the defense. And Nickelback gets another headshot in the meantime. So does come to a very, very doable situation here for Hellraisers. If they can pull this one off, it's a big upset. Winstrike, they will be picking straws. They actually won't have a lot of money to work with. This is a must-win round, and one that they really should have been picking up. Now it gets a little bit touch and go. The only saving grace for them is that the rifles that have been dropped are completely unretrievable. Hellraisers, they're kept at an arm's length. These Deagles at range, though, can certainly still do some damage. Flarich in connector. Seems like Winstrike have become wise to the fact that this B site is completely open. They start their rotation, but remember, Mirage rotating all the way through the T-spawn. It's a very, very long journey. It's going to take them quite a while. And Hellraisers, they're still standing true on this A site. They're still pretty convinced this is going to be an A exec, and that's just not the case at all. By the time they actually realize it and they head over towards this B site, it's certainly going to be too late. Flarich does start to creep towards underpass. No one else has even moved off of this A bomb site. So we'll probably see a retake here, potentially even a save from Hellraisers. Realistically, I think it will be the retake. And there we go. They now know what's up. They've heard the bomb. The Orc's going to fire through on Alien. Flarich now eliminated. And it comes down to Anikez and Lime. They found themselves a Galil to work with. Lime spamming away towards that refrigerator. Seems to think there might be one lingering behind it. Nickelback instead just on the corner towards door, ready to pounce when needed. And it is going to be the save call here from Hellraisers. No surprise there. Once again, Winstrike. They pull ahead by 1, but are they going to be able to hold on to it? Well, off of the back of those 2 weapons that were saved, we don't actually see any investment come through here from Winstrike. The Deagle dropped over towards Problem, in line with that Galil, and yeah, nobody actually investing anything here. So we will have enough money to buy into the next, but this round, it's all about damage. For Winstrike, it's about damage control. Try to keep as many of these guys alive as you can. With Molotov, doesn't quite land where they want it. The crowd opens up regardless. Gets back with another, looking to try and find his 3rd headshot. This will open up the site for business, but instead, Problem eliminates him. Lackey's there to trade. The 1 kill found here for Winstrike. Realistically, they want at least 1 more. Flarich spotted out the man on site. Maybe he has. Regardless, the flash forces him off. It allows them to get this C4 down. Just with the USP in hand, he's certainly got nothing to save, so he's not going to fall away. Wants to try and take the firefights. Anikez taking a deeper angle towards short. Realistically, doesn't want to hold on to this scout. He's actually got enough money to invest into an AWP in the next. So probably wants to try and, yeah, take some gunfights here. But wants to put himself in an advantageous position to actually win those gunfights. Of course, if he just charges in up close and personal, he's almost certainly going to die. If he plays deep towards short, there's actually an opportunity for him to catch off some hunting players. And, well, that opportunity is about to present itself, but is he going to capitalize upon it? Lackey, no. Anikez, the timing's impeccable. He watches the door just a second too late, and Lackey's able to slip through. Pounces from behind, and Winstrike off the back of it. They are actually going to call a timeout. In fact, I think because the teams are switched around, this isn't actually a Winstrike timeout. This is got to be a Hellraisers timeout. I don't understand why Winstrike would call a timeout right now. I think this is probably a Hellraisers timeout. These teams still the wrong way around, man. Still the wrong way around. And it is confusing me. Honestly, you'd think, okay, it's one of those things. You'd think that you just get used to it. But when you're sitting in the seat and you're trying to draw information off of the screen as quickly as you can and things like that, it really, really throws you off. Makes this, yeah, just a little bit harder. It's kind of weird. It's kind of one of those weird psychological things, but enough of that. Back into the game. 7-5. Hellraisers. They lead. Hellraisers don't lead. Winstrike. They lead by 2. Close shot. Pop through the smoke. Doesn't quite connect there for Anikez. In the meantime, Nickelback. He's found himself quite an advanced position. If he pushes through the smoke, maybe he could eliminate Lime. Instead, it's Crab to do so. And this A site once again opened up. Problem. He has been a real spanner in the works this entire time. And there we go, 1 more kill found. The Molotov eliminates that angle that he maybe could have had onto Crab. Instead, he's going to have to take a good position. Still wins the gunfight nonetheless. That's the C4 down. And he's flipped this round on its head once again. This was a 4 versus 2, now a 2-on-2. And they're just not checking for Problem time and time again. Finally, Lackey's able to eliminate him. It does fall onto Flarich's shoulders on a very, very long rotation. He is going to get there a little bit too late. This C4 will, of course, be planted, but will he have the element of surprise? Considering he's not come from CT and jungle in all of this time, in the next few seconds, Winstrike should start to realize that he's probably on the flank. And there we go. They're actually going to take jungle control. They'll realize that he's not rotating through. And they'll be fully aware that he's going to be coming from Palace or Ramp. They've got the AWP posted on the angle, and as soon as he peeks, oh, it's a bit of a whiff. Gives Flarich a lifeline. He's cheated death in this scenario. Deals some damage onto the AWP, but realizes that he probably hasn't got time in this situation. He hasn't actually got a kit to work with either, so is just going to fall away here. Is going to be the save call. That's unfortunate. Either way, though, the round is going to go to Winstrike. So 8-5. Oh, they're going to make it a little bit more. Of course, they've got 2 more rounds to play with, so potential for a 10-5. Worst case for them, it's an 8-7, and that's not too bad whatsoever. Remember, it is their map pick, and they are starting off on their T side of things, so certainly interesting, but we're not going to see much of an investment here from Winstrike either. Really good opportunity here for Hellraisers to actually make this 9. Then we're going 9-5, and well, best case scenario, 9-6 here for Hellraisers. Not the best of halves, especially considering how they got off. Could have been a little gap in the smoke there for Blinker. Instead, doesn't spot anything out. Now his attention is diverted towards this B side that's been completely lost. And Lime, oh, he can't get anything done. Anikez does finish things off through the smoke of the embers. And a 4 versus 3. Once again, just another comfortable round pickup here for Winstrike. Elian should be able to take out this PT-50. Actually doesn't connect on the shot now, but a very, very tight angle. Nonetheless, Nickelback looks to try and get it done with the Mac-10. That's going to give him some extra money to work with too. And they didn't really want Winstrike to save anything here. They have actually found a couple of rifles, and there we go. Crad swarming out with the Mac-10. Not only is he getting some extra money there, but he's actually snatching away that AK. He'll put it on his own back. Nice little consolation prize. He doesn't even need to pay to upgrade in the next. Not that it makes any difference. Next round, round 15. Winstrike have got plenty of money. They've got 9 rounds on the board, and they've only allowed Flarich to step away with this M4, which realistically shouldn't make too much difference. I mean, in this scenario, Flarich actually should have dropped an AWP towards Anikez, because it's the last round. He could have dropped an AWP towards Anikez, and then Anikez could have bought himself a kit. He could have bought himself an incendiary. He could have bought himself even an upgraded pistol if he wanted it. Instead, we kind of end up with extra money. Nonetheless, we do see a full buy come out here for the Hellraisers side as they face up against the rifles again. Forrester trying to get aggressive, spamming away through the smoke towards Ganecto. Can't find anything for now. Oh, what a headshot there from Lackey. Lightning fast reactions. And it's going to give them this man advantage. Lime, in the meantime, just around this smoke. Can't seem to spot anybody. Oh, Flarich on the jump spot. Does actually see Crad, so that nade's going to be deployed. It's not going to do any damage whatsoever, though. In the meantime, Lime does find one, instantly traded by Elian. So that's just the power right now that Winstrike have. Trading out these frags instantaneously does mean even when they take a man deficit, it's not for long. Lackey very, very close to this off. As soon as he hears him fall back, you know he's going to go for the swing, and there we go. Freezing kill for him. Easiest one of his life. The second one certainly is, and Flarich able to trade it back. And in the meantime, has actually come back into a 2 versus 2 situation. And Winstrike, they're really running out of options. Problem, steal the spanner in the works from behind, takes down Elian, and it all falls on to Nickelback right now. C4 on his back, doesn't make any difference. Flarich tears his head clean off, and that's a 3k for him to finish things off in the 15th. We were really, really looking down the barrel of a 10-5 half there, and instead, seems like Hellraisers have kind of clawed it back a little bit. We do see it go 9-6, and as we move into the second half momentarily, a real good opportunity to pull it back if they can win the pistol. I really hope these teams get swapped around soon. Pistol round underway. It's only Kalinka with the util, and he's actually got 2 flashbangs. He's going to bot them right over the top. And instead of blinding any enemies, he actually just blinds his teammates. Trad with the first headshot. Nickelback trying to do further damage. Actually lands it, despite the fact that he's been dinked there. Only on a single point of health. His teammates are falling like flies. These Glocks are dealing the dinks, but they're not dealing the kills. Forrester with another headshot. There's a second. 3 versus 1. Very doable here for Problem. 2 of these players have 1 and 5 HP. The issue is that they've got this triangle formation, and he needs to try and plant this C4. There's Forrester, the full HP player, swings out into Palace, spams away, and the jump for Problem spins around for the 3rd. Absolutely unbelievable clutch. What the hell is that? I really want to see a replay of that round. It wasn't even like Winstrike played that poorly. They actually swung into him at the same time. They just weren't able to connect the headshot, and Problem in the meantime spinning around. Absolute masterclass. Here's the dink and the follow-up onto Forrester. He's the man with full HP. Then knows he just needs to land a lone bullet onto Nickelback, and the instant 180 to take down Alien. Absolutely superb stuff. And it takes the pistol round here for Hellraisers. I mean, what an important round for them to pick up, and in doing so, it should allow them to close this gap. Just up against the pistols here, it is a full investment from Winstrike, but only Deagles and a scout to work with, and there we go, Lime opening things up with the first. Nice headshot coming through towards Palace. Nickelback in position known, and flash pops over the top. He is completely eliminated. Nothing he can do, as all he can see is white. A lot of damage dealt here from Winstrike. I think it's down to that preliminary damage with those grenades and the spam to the diesel through the smoke. Nonetheless, they can't get any of the frags, and there we go. An absolute cleanup. It's the cleanup crew of Problem finding 3, and there we go. Anakiz to finish things off. And it is going to be 8 on the board for Hellraisers, and they will be allowed a freebie in the next. It has to be a full eco here for Winstrike, unless they want to go for something foolish, which I myself would advise against, but, you know, I'm not a coach. Maybe they go for something funky. I think that's unlikely, though. It seems like Gamdom's just on all the TVs. All the TVs here on Mirage have just got the Gamdom logo playing. As much as I love Gamdom, I think I'd probably get a little bit bored of that if it was just on all the time on all the channels. Right now, just the pistols to work with here for Winstrike. Kraz, oh, he gets tagged up by that grenade, trying to stay hidden, trying to bait them up close so that he can try and take some heads with the 50 instead. Anakiz found that opening headshot. Does take the dink in the meantime. They're actually taking a lot of damage here, considering they're just against the pistols. They've actually lost 2 men. And Anakiz on such low health, he could also fall here. Flourish being spammed away by that USP. Headshot unable to connect, so he's still alive and kicking. As the nade pops over the top, it's actually going to completely miss, but Problem's there to finish things off, and Anakiz from behind, he's the backstabber. Hellraisers, they do take it 9-9, and they keep 3 players alive. So 2 casualties in that round. Winstrike will be fairly happy with it. Hellraisers, they'll shrug it off. If they'd lost any more than that, maybe they'd be a little bit tilted, but for now, they are fine. They'll recover onwards and upwards for them, as they've got cash in the bank, they've got all the tools to work with, they've got all the utility they could want on their belts. Problem's already at 20 frags. He's an absolute monster on the server right now, having a huge, huge impact. Winstrike, they've got pretty much everything they want to work with too. A little bit of a lack of utility, but an AWP in the hands of Alien and Rifles on the wreck. Very, very close to connecting that shot through the smoke to open things up on mid. Unfortunately unable to do so, and Anakiz still allowed to wreak some havoc towards that area of the map. The flashbang gives him a little bit of legroom to work with, but no wide swing just yet. As Winstrike, they kind of maintain some nice control of middle right now, despite the fact that Kalinka's in underpass and Anakiz is in top mid. They haven't really been able to take too much, and with the smokes in place, they're now kind of locked in a little bit. Minute 10 on the clock, C4 still over towards top mid, but with Line finding that opening headshot, that's going to apply some pressure. That's exactly what they needed. They'd made the call that they were kind of locked into mid. Someone needed to make a play to draw some rotations, and there we go. That headshot's going to pull the window man into jungle and give Hellraisers an opportunity to either push through mid or rotate off of it, and it's going to be the latter. That C4 works its way back round towards the A site. And Lackey, he's trying to establish some more control, even out these numbers single-handedly, and he's not able to do so. Walks right into the waiting crosshair of Problem. Anakiz finds another in the meantime, and it all falls into a 5 versus 2. Forrester and Alien, it's probably going to be the safe call here from them, and it seems like they've already gone for it. 30 seconds on this clock. They want absolutely nothing to do with this one. And by the looks of things, Hellraisers are actually going to let them get away with it. They know that if they can have a flawless round right now and keep 5 players alive, then they are in a fantastic position. And Winstrike, despite the fact that they will save this AWP and M4, they're really not going to have the best of buys moving into the next round. Forrester and Elian will be able to drop, but I don't think they'll have the max loss bonus. I could be wrong here. Off of the back of the pistol, 3 in a row, 4. Okay, so they will actually have the max loss bonus, but we will just see them, drop a couple of M4s. There'll be a lack of utility. One man probably will be down to that for mass. And Hellraisers, they expend one man in the form of Kalinka, see if he can get it all done. But without it, they are just going to hold on to what they have. They don't want to risk losing anymore. We will go into round number 20 with Hellraisers in the lead for the first time in quite a while. We saw them take the lead, I think, in round number 8 or something like that. But yeah, the first time in a while they've really been in the lead. And off the back of it, we do actually see a Winstrike timeout come through. And that gives us a perfect opportunity to talk about our partners over at Gamdom. Make sure you head over there. They've got plenty of games like Slots and Crash to keep you entertained, and they just have so much to offer. If you prefer watching the action, Gamdom also offers match betting to earn cash on your favorite teams. With great rewards, cashback, rakeback, periodical free coins with Gamdom's Rain feature, and King of the Hill event, Gamdom is the place to be. Sign up with code TEB on gamdom.com or go to gamdom.com/R/TEB. Make sure you're over 18, folks, and please, please, please gamble responsibly. This time out now been cancelled. We do actually get right back into the game. It's round number 20, remember. Hellraisers, they've just taken the lead, and Winstrike looking to bounce back. And despite the fact they've actually saved the 2 rifles, they're not going to go for the full investment. Every single player had 4k in the bank. And I was really expecting Winstrike to drop here. Forrester and Elian would have had enough money to actually drop a couple of rifles. We would have seen a buy, but they just wouldn't have had too much utility to work with. Instead, we just see the Deagles come out around it. Opening kill found. It allows Crab to actually snatch away an AK. Nice bit of aggression there from Elliot. Gives them that man advantage and means that they've actually got more rifles to work with. Nickelback finds another with that M4 that was saved from the last. Now they've got some serious stuff to work with. I mean, Kalinka does find another headshot, does come back into a 3-on-3. This is where it starts to fall away, but there's still 2 defenders towards this A site. Nickelback, well, they drop instantaneously. There was a real opportunity for them to get something done there. If they'd have killed Flarich, probably would have been their round for the taking, but instead, they get lined up and sent to an early grave. Comes down to Crad. 2 versus 1. CCAWP on the floor. Wants it, knows it's not the right tool for the retake. Smoke goes a little bit deep, means that he can actually wriggle his way through it. They're not going to be expecting him to come through door, but Flarich is posted on the angle, hits the headshot, and Hellraisers, they take a comfortable 11th. Opportunity to pick up the double AWP, but that's not really what you want on your T side. So they are going to go into round number 21 with a pretty big advantage. 2-round lead, loads of money, all the weapons to work with. They will face up against another full buy here. Remember, it was a bit of a half investment from Winstrike in the next. They did nearly get it done. They did a lot of damage. But we will see Elian have to reinvest in that. Or see Nickelback have to buy himself another M4. So we are really, really at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the cash. They have nothing left to work with whatsoever. If they lose this round, Hellraisers should be able to put themselves onto 13, which is quite a dangerous prospect considering this Winstrike's map hit. But nice opening pick there from Nickelback. That's exactly what they needed. They take the advantage. Lackey, low on health, but Flarich is on the other side of this smoke, looking to try and take down Nickelback. It all comes down to time, and instead he actually wriggles through it, but Nickelback spots out the feet, and that's the power of that one-way. Gives him a sightline to work with, and he's able to strip away the man. 2-man advantage here for Winstrike. And once again, this has just been so back and forth. I mean, yeah, that's kind of just been the recurring theme of this whole game, to be honest. Back and forth and back and forth. Man advantage here for Winstrike. As Hellraisers, 35 seconds on this clock, and they do look to try and get onto this A bomb site. They've got some utility to work with, and off the back of it, they should be able to actually maybe get a bomb plant here. The real issue is early in the CT. A nice boost comes over the top. That's not really expected. Nickelback has to try and fight here, and as he loses the gunfight, does do some damage, so problems onto 6 points of health. But there's actually a real opportunity here for Hellraisers. We talked about the importance of round. If they can take it, they're in a fantastic position. But as his teammate drops, he's left in a very, very difficult situation, and he can't do anything with it. So Winstrike take it to 10, and Hellraisers, well, they do have enough money to pull out another buy, but this one's to try and hold on to the lead. If they lose it, scoreline ties up once again. Nickelback. Nice bit of aggression as he pushes right through. Deals a lot of damage, finds that opening pick as well. This somewhat favours the T's though. Thins out the defences a little bit, and with the early preliminary damage dealt onto Elian and Lackey, Lime's able to finish off Elian, and there's the man advantage. Flourish is also low, but Winstrike, they're in a tricky situation right now, and they've actually gone for a bit of a gamble. They stack up towards this A site, completely neglect B. Forrester, he's got a very, very big job on his hands, does even out these numbers, brings it back into a 3-on-3. Problem looking to trade, but as Crad swings out, what is the timing on that? What on earth has just happened there? Problem finds the man on site, but Crad, that's a free B kill for him. I don't even know how that's happened. There was a smoke there, but it wasn't really blocking the vision. They just kind of walk straight past each other. Lime, in the meantime, pops the flash over the top. Kind of blinds himself with it, but Forrester can't seem to capitalize. Only does a tickle of damage. Gets Lime down to half. And this bomb, kind of making the wrong decision. Anika's actually rotating through towards ramp, but he might have a sightline here onto Forrester on the bomb site. Spotted out the barrel. This is dangerous. No, the timing's not in his favor. It's a stack towards the A bomb site. Flank in place, though, here from Lime. And Anika's just has to stay alive. Hitting that shot is absolutely integral to winning this round. Forrester knows that he's being protected right now. He's got the drop, but Lime's got the headshot. And Hellraisers, they recover that round beautifully and take it back in their favor. 12-10 right now they sit. And they're in a great position to just continue this one, try and take this game. Only the pistols to work with here for Winstrike, and this is where it really does just get a little bit scary. I mean, this is their map pick. They're just getting completely demolished. A couple of beautiful eco frags there from Lime. Just farming these frags, feeling good about this one, and those feel-good frags really, really do work wonders for your morale and your confidence. As they go into the buy, there'll be 3 rounds up. And they will be flared up and ready to go. Nice shot from Anika's there to just thin out these numbers further. And if they can have a flawless round here, it really, really will do a lot for them. They'll have plenty of cash in the bank. And even if Winstrike do pull off a bit of a comeback, Hellraisers will have money to fight back. Elian, nice deagle shot. Puts an AK on the ground, unretrievable for now though. If they swing too wide, they'll almost certainly get their heads ripped off. Anika on the angle, posted, ready to do so. Instead it's Lime to find it. Knows the position of the last man. Forrester though, a little bit quicker to the trigger. Does land the 1B. As he continues to press, he's just looking to do damage, and he can't do any more than the single frag that he found. So, 13-10 here for Hellraisers. A lot of money in the bank here for Winstrike, so they are going to go for another full investment. But if they lose it, I think that might be the end. Think about it this way. Okay, they'll have a loss bonus. They'll have to eat an eco in the next. That will let Hellraisers get onto map point. So basically, if Winstrike lose this round, unless they can pull off some crazy eco round upset, where they will have some pistols to work with considering the loss bonus, they will be staring down the barrel of a must-needed 5-round match point comeback. Nice headshot, Nickelback, Flourish with another, all falling apart. Oh my goodness, this A site, it's just been completely taken by storm. There's absolutely nothing Winstrike could have done there to hold on to that one, and it does fall onto the arms of Forrester, who is just going to fall away and save. So, the aforementioned eco round coming up in the next. Of course, as I said before, the loss bonus will allow them to pull out some pistols. So it's not necessarily going to be an eco. We'll probably see some deagles, maybe some 5.7s, a little bit of Kevlar here and there. They will have something to fight back with, but considering they're being completely blitzed on the buy rounds, I imagine Hellraisers just snatch it away, and then it's that must-needed 5-round match point comeback. Winstrike. How on earth do you come back into this one? Kalinka getting aggressive in the B apartments. He's not made any noise. He should spot out the head sooner or later. Onto Forrester instead. Looking the wrong way. But Kalinka, he's got so much money that he won't be too fazed by this one. Flarich. He was desperate to try and find that kill, but couldn't get in time. Forrester does hold on to that M4. And what that actually does mean is that he'll have extra cash, and he could maybe hold on to that and buy Elian an AWP in the next. So rather than Elian not buying anything here, he can actually force up some pistols with his teammates and then still have an AWP going into the next round. That's an option. Oh no, are they going for a buy here? Maybe it's just a double M4s, but considering it's been picked up by Elian, no, they're going for a full investment. Oh, this is mental. Off of the back of Forrester saving that M4, they actually go for a full buy. It's somewhat justified. With the loss bonus, they do have enough money to pull out these FAMASs, but there's a major lack of utility here, especially on the offensive side of things. We don't see any HGs come into play. We only see a couple of incendiary grenades, so they're looking to get this one done with raw firepower and the smokes and the flashes. If they don't win this round, and remember, they've got 3 contingencies here. In fact, probably 4. They've got that MP1, they've got the masses, they've got a lack of util and no AW to work with to contest Anakez. And if they lose it, Hellraisers, they're on to match point, and they'll have a freebie against the FAMASs in there as well. Kalinka finds that open. Elliot swings out, desperate to try and trade it, doing all the work right now. Finds himself 2, and the trade, it's not quite quick enough. Anakez can't hit the flick, and Winstrike, they're able to take the man advantage. What a huge play from Elian there. The hero man knows that he needs to push it and get something done. He's not sure what for now, but afterwards, he knows that he's done what was needed of him. Only 24 points of health left to work with. But Winstrike, just as much as us at home, know the importance of them winning this map. With 58 seconds left to tick, Hellraisers, they actually start to re-aggress onto mid. We do see the repeat come through from Ellie, and he does confirm that there are players here, but no one's quick enough to actually pull the trigger onto it. And the Molotov comes in, so they have safe passage up short. But the rotations will come through, so a 2-2 set up on both the sites, and Lime in the meantime trying to get a bit of a flank going. He's managed to creep his way through connector, but as he walks onto this A site, it's all a big bamboozle. They go for the plant, but they're not expecting someone to be in fire. And as Nickelback swings out, he's not able to deny it. Problem hits the headshot. Crad's there to trade. Surely he falls here as he's got those bullets. He needs to reload, and Problem spamming him down. Anakez, unfortunately, in a position where he can't fire off the secondary AWP shot, but the bomb's planted and it's ticking away. A fuse on the round, time pressure. Elliot picked up the AWP, but as he goes for the peak, Problem is already posted on the angle. He's able to come out on top, picks up that sniper. He can drop that over to Anakez in the next. And Hellraisers, there's that much needed match point. They've got 5 chances to close this one out, and Winstrike, they are not in a fun position whatsoever. With Elian's 3k in the last round, he will actually be able to, buy himself an AWP. And we will see a couple of FAMASs come out. But once again, major lack of utility. Only 1 M4, 1 AWP. The rest of the players on FAMASs. And they're up against AKs, full util. And these players are feeling good right now. They're hitting all of their shots. They're taking all of the angles and winning pretty much every single one of them. And mid has been a real Achilles heel here for Winstrike. They've been losing it time and time again. And the A site as well, to be honest. They've been struggling to hold on to that one. As Nickelback gets aggressive in underpass, Problem, what an angle. Playing really deep towards TV. No one's going to be expecting him here. When Nickelback walks all the way through and doesn't see or hear anything, he's essentially just expecting the B apartments to be clear. But no, he's met by Problem. He's ready and waiting. Elian does level out these numbers with the AWP, but as he sticks around, he risks it going back the other way. That's not what he wants right now, but he knows that the only man with the sniper needs to make some kind of play. Fires through the smoke a little bit late to the trigger, and once again, just missing by a millimeter. Unfortunate stuff. Really could have had one through the smoke there. But no, Hellraisers take the mid control. They start to walk up short. The smoke goes up, gives them safe passage, eliminates that threat from connector, and now the only threat is Forrester on bench, and they're able to take him out instantly. Elliot flicks too hard, misses the shot, goes for the secondary peak, and Lime's able to take him down. 4 versus 2 now, and this map is almost certainly looking like it is going to go Hellraiser's way. an unbelievable performance here on Winstrike's pick. It just shows that, yeah, they've just not come into the game very well today. The retake starts to come in. Lackey, it's a 1 versus 3. He does find himself the first 2. There's definitely potential he can get this one done, but up against the 2 AKs, he has no idea where they are. He's got no kit in hand. His chances are very, very low. And there we go. Now they're null. Lime takes him out. Headshot puts Hellraisers 16-10. I mean, that's pretty sensational. After having a back-and-forth affair at the start, Winstrike then pulled it away. They took a 9-6 half. And then Hellraisers, they only allowed them to win 1 round on their CT side. They pretty much had a flawless attacking half. And they took it 16-10. Sensational stuff there from the Hellraiser side. They take their opponent's map pick, and now they move on to their own pick of train. So this is where it really, really does start to get scary. We could see Hellraisers take this one 2-0. We're just going to have to wait and see. We're going to go to a 10-minute break, folks. We'll be right back with you soon, so don't go too far. Welcome back, everybody. It's map number 2. We've just seen Hellraisers snatch away Mirage from Winstrike. It was their pick, and now Winstrike are looking to try and bounce back, reverse sweep this one. And are they going to be able to do so? Alien opening things up with the first headshot gives Winstrike the man advantage here as they start off on this CT side, remember. And Hellraisers, well, this is their pick. They do historically have the better win rate on it. Let's see if they can hold on to this. The B side has been completely taken by Storm. Flarich and Lime. Oh my goodness, Lime. He was doing so much work on this A side. His job was just the distraction. He was just trying to bamboozle this, and instead he's actually found 3 kills. We don't see any of it on camera. Just the lurking man trying to keep the A players busy, and instead he finds 3 of them. In fact, all 3 of them. And that's the round going Hellraiser's way, especially after taking the man disadvantage. That is absolutely unbelievable. They now have plenty to work with going into number 2, and it is just going to be the pistol buy here from Winstrike. Just these deagles then. Smokes all round, a single flash on Crad to try and get something done with, but realistically, I think it's very, very unlikely that Winstrike should be able to take this round. Instead, Hellraisers. This should be a comfortable one for them, and, well, it puts them at a 2-0 start. Remember, this is the T-side of Train as well, where it's fairly heavily T-sided, probably the most T-sided map in the game. So Winstrike, they're really looking for 8-9 rounds here, and if they can't take it, they are in for some trouble. Alien with the scout. Smoke comes over. Nickelback up close and personal with this Desert Eagle. Spams away. There's the single. They're peeking into him. They want to try and trade this one out. Anakin is actually able to do so, but in the meantime, Kalinka falls. And these pistols, they're doing some serious damage. Anakin's trying to pick up the pieces of this round, but as he swings back in, Forrester takes his head off with the Desert Eagle. 10 seconds left to work with, and Problem knows there is absolutely no touch in this round. Realistically, he just wants to hold on to this AK. Stripping away the head of Lackey means that that AK is probably unretrievable. Forrester might try and dart in for it at the end, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Charges in, snatches it away. They will have something to work with, but Hellraisers, that is a tough pill to swallow and a very, very rough round to lose. Again, handled Anakin. He's one of the hero AKs right now to try and get something done. Of course, Hellraisers, they have all invested off the back of losing for the 4th. They want to try and give Winstrike a taste of their own medicine. That's not going too well for them early on as Forrester does fall down to 1 point of health, but snatches away a man in the meantime. Problem and Lime trying to pick up the pieces of this one. They do so quite nicely. Back into a 3-on-3. Lime finally falls, but Forrester's still on a single point of health. So despite the fact that Winstrike do have a man advantage right now, it's only by a slither. Problem and Flarich still lingering towards the brown halls. Problem, will he win this gunfight on the Forester? He creeps around. There we go. Forester goes for the wide swing. Gets a little bit audacious with that one. Gets eliminated for it. And Lackey, he's got the wrong gun in the hands at the wrong time. Pulls out the flash. Problem's there to eliminate him. What a turn of events. Hellraisers, they pick this one right back up. And as the C4 is being tapped in, they seem to be fully aware that the last man's coming in from the flank as well. They know that he would have pushed him from backside by now if he was coming in from that area, from connector or from the CT spawn. So they get this bomb planted, and all eyes are on Heaven and Ramp. And as he peeks right through, Crad will be caught in the open, but the whiff comes through. Crad's able to capitalize off of it. A snappy reaction, but the bomb's planted for backside, and Crad knows it. The smoke, it's actually landed in the wrong place. I think he's just realized there is surely no hope for him here in the 1v1. That bomb beeping far too quickly, and he's going to have to fall away. He wants to try and save this MP9, swaps out to another MP9. Unfortunately, there's nothing better for him to pick up on the floor, and Hellraisers were able to bounce right back, take it 2-1. What a turn of events. This is basically what we saw at the very start of Mirage. Back and forth stuff until Hellraisers. They found their footing, they found their groove, and they were able to pull ahead and snatch the win. A nice early Molotov. Bates as well. Gives Crab the opportunity to maybe fire off a couple of shots, give away his position. They know he's here and they're popping in those nades, doing further damage. 1-for-1 trade comes through as Problem finds another in the meantime. Back into a 3-on-3. These kills are just instantaneous. You see 2 frags pop up in the top right-hand corner at exactly the same time. Very, very bizarre. And that just shows the level of coordination of these two teams right now. Unfortunate Lackey gets caught out by timing and Problem. He's been causing a lot of problems. His name really does suit him very well. He seems to be the man that in every single round is this kind of spanner in the works, coming in from precarious angles. Often that sight anchor on Mirage. And some very, very big plays in that first map. An integral part of their win right there. Let's see if he's going to be an integral part of their win on train if they're able to take it as they burst over towards this A bomb site. Smokes are in place, and it's Nickelback and Elians try and deny it. Nickelback right on the other side of this smoke. Elians actually able to spam through it and deny the plant. Nickelback tries to push through and deny it for the second time. There, such a huge whiff from Problem. What a time for him to fire through and miss every single bullet. Kalinka's able to follow up on it, and actually, he didn't get the bomb down, so he's going to wrap all the way round to this B bomb site. Try and tap in these digits as he baits it. He knows that Nickelback's going to go for the swing. Swings out wide towards Connector. Taps the bomb again. Nickelback this time surely goes through it wide. And he gets caught out by Kalinka. That is so smart and so beautifully played from the man. He does get tagged down to 9 HP, but wins the duel with the MAC-10 and upgrades to an AK rather willingly. Hellraisers, they take it to 3, and they finally force Winstrike onto this eco. Remember last round, they went for another force buy to try and bounce it back in their favor. But now losing 2 in a row, they will just bite the bullet and drop down to these pistols. AK's in hand here for Hellraisers as, Flarich let's put out the man on site. I think he knows there's one towards Ivy as well. Thinking he's going to get a couple of free kills here. Instead, gets a deagle bullet right to the head. Elian's the man to strip him of it. And Nickelback left on his lonesome. Winstrike don't seem to be having a lot of fun here on train. Nickelback does actually take one more before he goes to the grave. But not 3 players still alive here for Hellraisers. They're going to have no trouble whatsoever reinvesting. And this is going to be the buy from Winstrike. Orp comes out on Crad. He's going to drop that over to Elian. And we will see a full investment, filled with lots of util as well. So pretty healthy stuff here for the Winstrike side. But it's rather important that they pick this one up. If they lose this, we'll see another eco in the next. And actually, Hellraisers will have an opportunity to get themselves onto 6, which is a very, very dangerous scoreline to take as early as this. Opening jewel found. Crad's able to retrieve that sniper. And Hellraisers actually just work right back towards this B-bomb site. You see Problem jiggling around, thinking there's going to be a man up close, and instead, Winstrike have kind of just completely neglected this. Nickelback, in the meantime, does find the lurking man on this A site, but they've gambled incorrectly here. Hellraisers, they've already taken B. This bomb is going to go down comfortably. It's actually going to go down for backside as well, as Problem gets aggressive. He's going to be the man, the insurance policy at the end of the round to try and finish this one off. Instead, he falls. So man advantage here for Winstrike to work with on the retake, but it's a retake nonetheless. And Anikez levels up the numbers. Back into a 3-on-3. AWP eliminated. To be honest, Winstrike don't want it for this situation anyway, but the MP9's a major contingency. A lot of range there, and well, he's in the position for it, coming in from behind. Surely they anticipate this. In the next few seconds, we will be seeing someone turn around and expect it. And there we go. That's Lime's job. Takes a lot of damage. Actually tagged down to 4 points of health, but wins the duel. And for that, his team will take round number 5. And Winstrike, they're forced right away. They can't even save the AWP. Nickelback, just with this M4, will carry it across into next. They won't have a lot to work with around it. And we'll probably just see some pistols come out. We see Hellraisers just blitz in once again, just against these pistols. Should be a fairly easy pickup for them. 3 versus 3 though, as they take some damage to these Deagles, but the Deagles aren't able to pick up those AKs. In the meantime though, Elian does find himself one more, and Forrester has an opportunity to kind of get this one done. If Elian can win his next gunfight, that could be the final nail in the coffin. Instead, Nickelback's able to do so towards B. Elian falls though, and that allows Kalinka onto this A bomb site and allows him to tap in the digits of this C4. It goes down, 2 versus 1. As he starts to fall back from the bomb train, now knows where at least one of these players are. Can try and isolate this fight, especially with the Evox there. He can actually take the gunfight 1-for-1, but the support flash comes in, and Kalinka is tapping just a little bit too far to the left. Forrester, we see him whiff, not from his POV, but he does eventually come out on top in the gunfight against the fully blinded man, and Winstrike will be able to put their second on the board in a very, very unlikely round. Really wouldn't be expecting them to take one like that. Minute 20 on this clock then. We've just seen some really slow stuff here from Hellraisers. It's actually interesting. Kalinka's kind of demoted down to that Mag 10. They did have plenty of cash to reinvest into this one, but off the back of losing it, they've taken a few casualties in these last few rounds. We don't actually see a full buy come through. We see that AWP on Anikez once again, but yeah, Kalinka only down to that Mag 10. Limited utility here as they go for this execute, but the same can be said for the CT side. No HGs. Only one incendiary grenade on Alien. Everybody else kind of just have flashbangs to work with. One smoke on Lackey. It's going to be difficult to keep their opponents at bay as they start to burst right through. These flashbangs are going to certainly have to do some work. And they're going to have to be accompanied by some crispy aim as, well, Hellraisers, they start to make something happen towards this A site. Nades rain over the top. They're uncommitted just yet, though. They've still got Brown Hall's control. They've left the bomb at the top of the ladder. And maybe this is just a bit of a fake. They've got the Mac 10 towards Ivy, and off the back of it, oh, the flash is perfect from Crad. Nickelback's able to eliminate the Mac 10, not too much of a threat, draws a rotation for a second or two, but Crad knows exactly what's done. Back towards Connector, and they're ready to shut down this B execute. 1-for-1 trade, Problem comes out. Danikets finds one more, that's the close man, Elliot drops. Now a 3 versus 3 situation as Crad, oh, he just can't quite connect, finally hits the final bullet. Now the man advantage for them to work with, but Time is of the essence. They've got to try and make this retake happen. Problem, can't take all the fights at once. And his teammate falls to the same fate. Winstrike, they do close this gap further as they take it to 3. And Hellraisers, well, they still lead by 2, but they really don't have a lot of money left to work with. Off of the back of that bomb plant, they will have some gas. We'll probably see some pistols come out in the next. But yeah, certainly not a full investment. Not in this one, probably in the next. Almost finding that opening pick. It's actually a Tech 9 rush towards Ivy in this one. Problem does find that first pick. Instantly traded there by Trapdoor. What the hell is that? A one tap, a turnaround, another kill found, a messy spray to finish things off, but a 4K, and he'll be more than happy with that one. That one tap was pretty sensational. I wouldn't mind seeing that on a replay. Now only trailing by 1, and there we go. Here's this replay. The bursting comes through, and Crad, pop, one tap. That's his second of the round. Third kill comes through, and there's that fourth and final messy spray down, but it still does pick it up, and there we go. 4 on the board here for Winstrike. Hellraisers now fighting to try and hold on to the lead. Remember, they were 5 rounds ahead. In fact, no, only 4 rounds ahead. It was 5-1. But still, quite a substantial lead, and that has started to slip away. As we come into the 10th, Larich pops down that Molotov. Does actually force Lackey right away, and Crad, he falls. He actually sticks around and fights. And Problem, he's going to punish him for it all day long. Crad, maybe getting a little bit too big for his boots here. Looking like, yeah, he's trying to take some of these gunfires. He's been feeling really confident in these last few rounds. Certainly cost him in that one. Problem goes for the wide swing towards the B ramp. Certainly not expecting Elian at the bottom of it with the AWP. Despite the fact that he loses that gunfight, it gives them valuable information. They now know where this sniper's playing from, and they can try and work around it. Maybe they don't know there's a double AWP in play, but it's definitely possible considering Winstrike have won 3 rounds in a row. So they'd be foolish not to anticipate it. We'll have to wait and see if they do so. So we find ourselves in a 4 versus 4. Nickelback, oh, can't quite connect the AWP shot. And Elian still posted on this angle onto Lime. As soon as Lime peeks into this, Elian should be hitting this shot, but oh, it's a fast cross. Trying to bait the AWP, and Annika is able to capitalize off of it. Lackey finds one in the meantime, but still in a 3 versus 3 situation as that C4 gets tapped away. Elian can't quite connect the shot. He's missing everything here in this round, and it's certainly costing him. His teammates are able to pick up the pieces and kind of recover where he's been lacking, but Annika left in a 2-on-1. C4 planted. No one's tapped it just yet. As he swings, though, Elian's posted on the angle, and he's not going to miss that one. Hits the important shots, and it puts Winstrike onto 5. And actually, that secondary AWP's been retrieved as well. Forrest is going to carry it across into the next, probably drop it over to Crad, who I think's been playing over towards Ivy. No, in fact, it's going to go to Nickelback. So it's just kind of bouncing around. That's what I like about this Winstrike team. I mean, there's lots of things I like about this Winstrike team, but one of the big factors is that they have several players that are super confident with an AWP. You've got Elian, who's that main AWPer, and then sometimes we see Lackey pick it up. Sometimes we see Crad pick it up. We see Nickelback pick it up in this round. He's not the man that I see with that sniper too often. We don't often see Forrest to go for it, but Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 players on this team that are more than happy to secondary AWP. Obviously, they're not going to go for these versatile plays that Elian goes for, but they can play that kind of static AWP, the cannon, where they just stay still. They hold positions like Connector, like Ivy. That's what we see Nickelback posted. Not necessarily going for these early versatile picks that Elian is. But Winstrike actually looking like they definitely could take the lead here, especially considering they're just against the pistols. Hellraisers are stacked up in the brown halls, ready to execute onto B as soon as these smokes dissipate. But Winstrike seem to be fairly wise to this. They've actually stacked towards this bomb site. They know what they'll be up against. They know that there's a good chance they will be up against a B push. And as this flash comes through, Forrester goes for the peek, and he confirms this. Even though he's not able to find anything just yet, as soon as I open my mouth, he actually snatches away ahead of Lime. Very, very snappy stuff. The Link is able to trade on the site. Actually, on the A site, picks himself up an AUG. Flarich catches someone off getting aggressive. And oh my, this is starting to fall on its head. Nickelback, in up close and personal, does take down Kalinka, finds a follow-up too. And this is where Winstrike is starting to take control of this one once again, and it really does fall onto the shoulders of Nickelback. That's all him. 3 kills found. Now he's looking for a 4th though, and as he pulls out the P250, this is a dangerous gunfight for him to be taking, but he's just baiting Flarich into the open so that Elian can hit the shot. Both the AWPs retained. They go into the next round. They take a lot of damage, and that does mean they have to reinvest, but they've still got plenty of cash. I mean, you look at Nickelback right now, $7,000. Crad, just before he invested there, at 7,000. Elian, on top of his AWP, has 5k. I see the 3k again from Nickelback. Of course, just against the pistols, but up close and personal with the AWP using there, a bit like a shotgun. Pretty sensational stuff. Picks up the round for his team, of course. Puts Winstrike in the lead for the first time this game. And that's incredibly important. Of course, those of you that are just joining us, or those of you that need reminding, Winstrike are a map down. They lost their own pick of Mirage. So Train is really a must-win map for them. And considering they're on this T side, this CT side, you really are expecting them to get 8-9 rounds. That's definitely possible, but considering the current scoreline, it's becoming increasingly unlikely. And here in the 12, as they are falling like flies, becoming even less likely. 5 versus 2. Forrester and Crad. Oh, the Molotov. He's going to force Forrester right out into the open, and Anikez is going to be ready and waiting to fire off that shot. Crad all on his lonesome. That's going to go on 5. Realistically, do some damage here, and damage he'll do. 3 kills found. The round in contention for a second or so there. But Lime coming in from A main does pick up the pieces and make sure that the round gets put to bed. Yeah, it comes a little bit close for comfort. I think he'll be pretty happy to finish things off there. But man, look at this. 4 fights taken. Always just feed it to him a little bit. They peek 1 by 1 and give him enough time to reset his crosshair for each frag. And it costs them as well. I mean, you see no AWP here. We did see an AWP come out from Hellraisers in the last. Anikez this round can't afford it. So we just see these rifles. We do see full utility, but yeah, nobody's got any money. And last round, considering it was a 5 versus 1, they had a prime opportunity to try and start building up their bank accounts once again. And yeah, they're not able to. This round, whichever way it goes, it's a reset round. Both teams have no cash in the bank and it's a full investment on each side. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Elian and Crab tip the numbers back in their favor after a 1-for-1 trade to 15 points. We find ourselves in a 4th versus 1 situation. Anikez, he has got 2 of the 4 low HP opponents. He has the first, looking for the second, can't quite convert it as Nickelback spots his feet under the train, and he will be able to finish things off. So Winstrike, they do snatch it back 7-6 in their favor. And I mean, this game, it's honestly almost just frustrating to watch. Neither of these 2 teams have been able to actually substantially pull ahead. It's not necessarily that they're trading rounds back and forth. We saw Hellraisers pull ahead at the start, then Winstrike claw a load of rounds back. We find ourselves in this 7-6 situation, but neither team have actually been able to keep up that run of rounds. It's kind of only ever bursts of sort of 3 or 4. I think 5's the most we've seen. Now just the Tech 9s to work with. Last time we saw Hellraisers on these Tech 9s, which was only a couple of rounds prior, they were actually able to do some pretty substantial damage. Came down to a 2 versus 2 situation. Then they lost it, of course, but they actually commit to it this time around. Forrester spamming away while fully flashed. How have they not killed him? He should not be alive for this long as he finds a 4K. He's on for the ace here. He's only let one slip through, and that's why he's been relayed the call. He will be able to swing out and find himself the ace. That is so ridiculous. They push through the smoke with the flash. They kill Crad on connector. But Forrester, who's up close and fully blinded, gets completely overloaded. Not a single man looking and they all just fall to him. Look, they just continue to peek in. Even the fourth man, Flarich, has he not got the memo? Neither has Anarchez. They just continue to feed him. And on a single AK clip, he finds himself 3 and then switches to the USP for the 4th. Back to the AK for number 5. Such a ridiculous round. And, well, Hellraisers, to be honest, they're not looking to, well, they're not expecting to win it, but they're certainly looking to do damage. And had they found that kill, they could have got a bomb plant, they could have had a couple of frags under their belt. But no. Forrester denies it. 1-for-1 trade comes through. Nickelback getting a little bit over-aggressive. After he finds that first kill, maybe needs to fall away there. Instead, overstays his welcome, gets eliminated for it. Comes into a 4 versus 4. And this is for 8-7. So if Winstrike can win this round, they take the half 9-6. That would be really good for them. Forrester, they're not going to be expecting him here, but no, Kalinka on the angle. Well, that's absolutely sensational. Problem's actually pushed all the way through, and I was thinking that they were going to overlook it because Problem hadn't seen it on the site, but instead, it's absolutely beautiful. Massive whiff there from Problem, but they don't seem to have realized it. They've just not even turned around at all, and yeah, they're able to recover this one nicely. After Problem whiffing so hard there, I thought they were just going to swing into him, kill him, and then maybe we see a retake come through, but instead, it's flawless stuff there from Hellraisers. They keep 4 players alive. Not that it makes too much difference in the final round. And the half goes 8-7, which is sensational for a T-side here on Train. So, let's see how this one plays out. I mean, pistol round is a pretty big one here. If Hellraisers can take this pistol round and actually take the lead on this CT side so early on, they've got a really, really good chance of closing this out. And I didn't actually get the chance to look at the stats. And I'm going to have a quick look now to see how heavily either of these teams actually favor their attack or defense here on Train. So, ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so Hellraisers massively favor their CT side. They take 48% of rounds on their T side, which here on Train is actually pretty good, and 57.4% of their rounds on this CT side. So they are actually looking to, yeah, take like a 9-6, maybe even a 10-5 half. Actually, probably a 9-6 half here on this CT side, which is exactly what they need. In fact, they could actually get away with a little bit less than that to close this one out. And no, actually, they do need the 9-6 to close this one out in regulation. Of course, 8 to take it to overtime. And Winstrike, oh my, yeah, quite the opposite. So we see them massively favouring their CT side, 64%, and 40% on their T side. So if they come over towards this attack, historically, they do not like it at all. They do not find many rounds whatsoever, and this is really shaping up to be a Hellraisers 2-0, unless we see Winstrike pull something out of the bag here. Elian does find a couple of nice headshots, and what the hell is that? Forrester finishes things off. Winstrike, they do manage to take a pistol round. A bit of a back and forth affair. It does come down to a 3-on-3, but they recover it nicely. And I don't want to name and shame, but we actually see one player on both sides massively lacking. Ironically, it's Lackey. For Winstrike, he's sitting 4-13 right now. And Flarich also sitting 4-13. So everybody else around that double-digit mark, putting up some big numbers, having a big impact. Both of those players really, really lacking. They're not finding the kills that are required. Don't seem to be winning their duels. And if whichever one of these players for either side actually picks this up, if they do, that could be a real difference maker. Because right now, they've got a bit of a dud on the team. Someone that is actually like finding 1 kill every sort of 3 rounds. In fact, even less than that, like 1 kill every 4 rounds, 5 rounds. Whereas if they start to pick up, have some more impact, it's certainly dangerous. But just with the USP, they push towards Ivy, and Crad is ready and waiting. With the Mac 10, he'll get some feel-good frags, rack up some money with that Mac 10. But by having a flawless round, it potentially bakes them into actually getting a bonus here, and that could allow Hellraisers back into the driver's seat. Of course, they've got a full investment now. Off the back of that full eco, we do see the rifles come out. And there we go. Orph on Anarchez. Actually a glass cannon. Dangerous game for him to be playing, but I like it. And rifles on the rest. Lack of utility, but they're opting for the premium rifles rather than the FAMASs and the SMGs and then the extra skills. They're hoping to try and get this one done at a distance, take the Angels. Lime takes a little bit of damage from those nades early on. A little bit negligible, though. Not too much damage dealt there. Winstrike, they do start to default over towards this B site, but they have still got 3 SMGs in play, remember. This is a bonus, so they will have plenty of money to work with in the next. But of course, if Hellraisers can take this, and they can take it in convincing fashion, then they'll be feeling pretty warmed up. And there we go, Anarchez. That is lightning fast. I have no idea how he pulls the trigger that quickly, but I'm in absolute awe of it. Just as the smoke pops as well. Fantastic stuff. There's the opening kill they needed. Anarchez can't quite convert onto the second, but still the man advantage. No one's been able to fire through. Anarchez peeks up, finds a second, takes some damage, but nobody kills him as Elian and Crad even out these numbers back into a 3-on-3. The C4 being tapped in, but Anarchez is still alive and kicking and looking to do some damage on the back of the site. The M4 here to support him. It's Lime. Can't quite connect onto the players on site, but they have info on 2 of the 3 players right now. And as Crad gets aggressive, it does actually take out Anarchez. This is where things start to get scary. He's upgraded to an M4, but in doing so, actually costs him his life. Really unfortunate that he gets caught out by timing there. And the retake is hot and heavy, but no kits in play here, so they need to speed this one up. Kalinka does find the secondary shot, but he knows he's got no time. He has to fall away from this. This is the danger. This is the danger of going for a buy like this. Prioritizing the premium rifle Davis utility in those games, and it means that a very, very winnable retake has to be given up. Kalinka, he's got no kit, has to step back, is able to save that AWP. No one's going to hunt for him there. He sits on 18 frags, leading the team right now. But they've lost the initial 3 in a row. And I don't have much hope in them actually following up here as well. Of course, with that AWP, that's going to be dropped over to Anarchez. He'll buy some Kevlar to accompany it. We see some deagles come out, a little bit of Kevlar. Scout on Kalinka, definitely justifiable here on a map like Train. But up against these rifles, I'm not sure how much I fancy their chances. Anarchez does find that opening pick, though. Aggressive into brown halls. Very, very nice stuff. We've seen this nade stack 2 rounds in a row over towards A. And we're yet to see it work. I would like to see it work, especially in a buy round. It could have a huge impact. But at the moment, they're just spending $900 every round, not actually getting any damage with it. I think it did 12 points of it onto Problem. And in all of these rounds where they take like a little bit of damage, but it doesn't actually kill anybody, it's just rounds that Hellraisers realize, okay, they go for this nade stack, just make sure we don't get hit. I don't want to see Winstrike do it too many more rounds now that it's certainly going to be anticipated. They do still have this man disadvantage. Nickelback is able to trade it up, and it really does fall onto Anarchez here to get something done. Goes for a pop shot through the smoke, and as he goes for the secondary peak, Ellie is able to pick it up. Lime not able to do anything from behind, does some damage with that mag 10, nothing more than that. Gets Elian down to 32. Flarich, his job here is the AWP recovery crew. See if he can get him, retrieve that sniper. Oh, what a headshot there from Kalinka. That actually gives Flarich the opportunity to push in and take that off back, which was really their goal in this scenario. And yeah, in doing so, he's going to fall right back to CT. Might have to take a couple of gunfights to actually stay alive with it. Are they going to go for like a single-pronged attack? Yeah, they are. They're going to both come in from behind him. The timing's right there. They hear the footsteps. Nickelback swings right through. His teammate wins the aim duel himself. Picks up that AWP. That's going to be dropped over to Elian, and that's a really successful round from Winstrike. Bizarrely, they're having a great T side, which we weren't expecting at all, yeah? As I said before, this is really, really heavily in Hellraiser's favor, considering they took 7 rounds on their T side. They move over to this defense. They massively favor it. It's literally the complete opposite here for Winstrike. They hate their T side. I was expecting something a little bit more one-sided, whereas Winstrike, they've actually got off to a really, really good start. This is kind of a must-win round here for Hellraisers. They lose it, Winstrike will quite comfortably be on to 14, and that's where it really does get a little bit out of hand. Oh, Anarchez. I thought he was dead to rights there. Instead, tacked down to 5 points of health, hits the flick and falls away. Unbelievable stuff. 5 versus 3. And he's still alive and kicking. 1 kill to his name as he looks to make it more. Elian on the angle on backside does take down Line. Evens out these numbers a little, especially considering the damage that's dealt to Anarchez. But they're playing this one quite smart. Flower playing real deep here. Seeing Evan just trying to draw some attention. And there we go. Swings out at the right moment. Takes down Elian with the sniper. He's trying to hit through the wall. And yeah, he's just scoped on the wrong portion. When he's spamming through that wall, he's not expecting the swing to come through. And when Farage goes for it, Crosshair's in the wrong place. Nickelback now left in a 1-on-4 as both of his teammates have fallen. He has the information on a couple of these guys, but there's so much cover here on this A-bomb site. Does find the first headshot onto Flourish. No one's there to swing to trade it. If the peek comes through from Ivy, Nickelback, he's going to be in some serious trouble. Taps the bomb, hoping to try and bait out a peek right now. He's actually in a really good position. Maybe could make something work because he spots the Ivy man. They're just going to continue to jiggle peek. That's going to allow the Connector player to push up. Nickelback's aware of it. That's why he gets himself in a better position to try and fight Connector. But he knows that only 15 seconds on this clock. He needs to get the C4 planted or he needs to find the kills. He's going to go for the wide spot. He's not going to be expecting 2 players here. And as he peeks right into the angle, he does do some damage onto Kalinka. But Anakez is there with only 5 points of health to finish off the job. Fantastic stuff from him. And it takes Hellraisers to 8. As I said before, a must-win round. And I'm very impressed they were able to convert it. AWP on both sides here then. As Winstrike, they go down to their reserve cash. Remember, they have won 4 rounds in a row. They'll have plenty of money to go for a buy here. And Elian, despite the fact that he takes a little bit of initial damage, does manage to hit the flick. There's the opening pick. There's Forrester to follow through. Now a 5 versus 3. Pretty much instantly. As soon as we get kicking off in round number 21, Winstrike have bounced right back. That's what we like to see. Crad with another. And this round, pretty much all said and done. Wrapped up and put under the tree. Hellraisers. They are not going to have a lot of money to work with at all, and they're not going to be happy with this round outcome. Early save call. C4 you had to go down though, but yeah, they've still got plenty of time to go and get it. Just under a minute left. They're just kind of cautious that maybe Hellraisers are in control of it. That's not the case at all. Jeez, this has been a slow one. Finally, the C4 gets planted. Only 20 seconds left on that clock, remember, but now it's 40. Winstrike, it feels like they're hunting. Like, they definitely are hunting. They know that Hellraisers are going for the save right now, but they're really, really slowly hunting as a pack. And by this point, they have to know Hellraisers are in CT. They've literally cleared out every single other part of the map. And now they're going to peek into CT. They've got that pincer of Crad, and they are going to have 3 players ready to strike. There we go. There's the first with Crad to find it, and all of the attention diverted as Lackey makes loads of noise. And Winstrike, not only do they take it to 13, they snatch away the 2 saving members. It means that Hellraisers cannot go for a buy in this round whatsoever. Really, really fantastic stuff. Round number 22, Hellraisers, they are actually dropping down to a half by here. So we're only going to see sort of pistols come out. Everyone's staying around that $2,000 mark. See the rifles here for the strike, and this should be a pretty comfortable round for them to pick up. That's going to put them on to 14. Yeah, they are winning every single duel right now. Elian just not missing a shot. Throwing it too earlier this time around. Serious damage dealt. Anakez is able to trend through for 1 with that P250. A little bit of further damage dealt too, but nothing more than that. As problem left on his lonesome. CZ in hand. 1 versus 4. Let's see what he can get done here. Realistically, I think he's looking for a couple of exit frags, hoping that someone wants to hunt for him. Winstrike playing this round a little bit more disciplined. They know that they're just up against pistols. They don't really want to risk losing a rifle trying to take care of him. So instead, they'll hold on to this site and probably exit together. Problem's best chance here is catching out Forrester if he gets over aggressive and tries to climb up this ladder. I think that's very unlikely at this stage, though. If he does, certainly foolish. And yeah, he's definitely not going to climb up that ladder. Problem. Maybe he just goes for a white swing right at the end. Yeah, that's what he does. Spots out Forrester. Good news, Forrester's fairly low here as well. And as he goes for the peak, opportunity presents itself. The opportunity isn't there. Two orbs come out here for Hellraisers as, yeah, they are desperate to try and pull this one back. 6 rounds in a row needed to start the scoreline. 8 in a row taken in regulation. And, well, if they want to do so, there is no margin for error. No room for mistakes here. They have to have a flawless game of Counter-Strike from here on out. And there we go. Nice opening pick there from Anikaz. Wins the Battle of the Orbs early and eliminated. And that AWP for now, not going to be retrieved. Kalinka trying to put some pressure here on Ivy. Doesn't want to over-aggress. They've got this man advantage, so he doesn't need to take an aggressive gunfight. Actually takes a fair amount of damage from that Molotov as well. Traps him in the corner. Doesn't want to stick around in case a nade follows it. Winstrike are doing some nice early preliminary damage. Incendiary grenades and Molotovs, HGs, tagging down these players. Lime's been spammed through the floor as well. So just sponging up these opponents, making these gunfights a little bit easier for them. And there we go. Nickelback takes down the first. It's Lime who was on 50 HP. Flarich with that secondary AWP does find himself a frag, so brings it back in Hellraiser's favour. They've still got this man advantage. They've maintained it pretty much throughout the entirety of this round. Anikaz needs to not drop here. Spots out the feet, pulls the trigger too late as he's flashed off the angle. Has to fall away. And this actually gives pretty much control of the site here. But Kalinka's there to stop the plant from coming through. Jumps up onto the site. Tries to take a secondary gunfight. Actually drops to Forrester. But deals a lot of damage too. So man advantage here for Hellraisers. And Forrester's low on HP. Flarich is in a very bizarre angle. I have no idea why he's that aggressive. And he's going to get caught out by Forrester's AK. So comes back into a 2 versus 2 situation. This is where it starts to get dangerous. A little bit touch and go here. Anikez's position should be somewhat known, considering he was dancing around Old Bomb. They're going to be expecting him to be Ivy or Old Bomb. They pull out the bomb. Here on the site. Anikez waiting for the rotation, waiting for his teammates to come through connector. But this round somewhat favoring Winstrike now. The barrel's been spotted. Anikez just waiting for the peak. Spots the arm. Oh, Forrester. He is toying with him right now, and I don't think he realizes it. Oh, my. Anikez just keeps seeing the arm, but he doesn't want to pull the trigger. And it seems like Forrester knows it. He is just toying with his opponent right now. He knows Anikez is in Ivy, and as soon as problem drops, Anikez has to fall away for the save. That is absolutely crushing to watch. That is almost comical. You see Forrester just kind of looking at him through the wall, like, haha. Keep showing me my hand, I'm not going to hit it. Crad gets picked out of the air, but no round potential there from Hellraisers as Winstrike take it to 15. 7 in a row now needed. And a bit of a lackluster play here from Hellraisers too. We see some FAMASs come out. What the hell is that? Team flash from Flarich. Fast peek from Forrester, and he's able to find that opener. A couple of kills go their way, and this is pretty much all that can said and done. Able to be eliminated. All comes down to the FAMAS and M4 as Flarich gets dropped. And problem, the next to be nailed. It's Forrester up close and personal in this smoke. Problem. Waiting for it to dissipate. Certainly fall here. There we go. Does find himself one onto Forrester, but Krad's there to instantly trade it. And it's a 16-8 sweep around. Winstrike, they get off to the start of a reverse sweep. Are they able to pull it off though as we go on to this third and final map of Vertigo? They do favor it. But to be honest, I don't really care who favors what anymore. Winstrike have just had a flawless T-side on a map that historically they do not do very well on. So let's wait and see how that one goes. We're going to go to another 10-minute break. We'll be right back with you with the third and final map of this series. Don't go too far, folks.